Hey, JW here. Checking out the same software I checked out the other day, only on a different computer. This is my Chromebook. I really like these Chromebooks. They're a couple $100 and they're the most reliable, best computers I've ever used. Get the best results with them. And sometimes I wonder why I ever, occasionally, I guess, I need Windows to run a particular software, but when I don't, I prefer using my Chromebook. It's a way better experience for me. And I don't know. I'm wondering why I even need a Windows computer anymore. Because primarily I use my computer to make videos. I can make videos on a number of software programs. Some of them require Windows, but most of them don't. And the ones that don't do just as good a job, if not better, than the ones that require Windows. So, anyway, that's my rant for the day about Windows and my praise for Chromebook, which is a great little computer. This is, I think it's 15-inch screen. It's really nice, clear picture. Watch my
My
YouTube
journey into
videos.
health first began when I was in my early 20s. My first daughter was only 16 months old.
This is a
She had a
lady by the name of Barbara O'Neill who I don't know whether she has a degree, if she's a nurse practitioner, maybe. I'm not certain, but she's wicked smart. She knows a lot of things about alternative um, herbs and medicines that in the alternative community. I discovered um, a number of things that have helped me because of her videos and her lectures. She's just a very smart human being and has a very nice demeanor about her and a pleasant speaker. I believe she's from Wales, maybe, or Scotland. Anyway, she's a real smart lady. She's from the United Kingdom somewhere, and real bright, and as I say, very easy to listen to. And I've learned a lot from her. Um, I use cayenne pepper because of her. Keeps the blood flowing. You don't need any type of statin. I don't. I'm not a doctor. I need to say that I am not a doctor, but I believe that the doctor. A quick story. Back in February of 2017, I had been doing a lot of walking in the winter month, the month of February, which was quite cold that year. And I was walking my usual walks up the hills in New Hampshire, very strenuous walks, and very cold. In some cases, it was probably in the teens, if not lower. And when you're up in the hills with the wind, and I was, that was back in the day. It was only, what, 6 years, about 6 years ago. And I'd go up there in shorts. Sometimes I'd wear those runner's tights, but I wasn't dressed properly in many respects, at least in my lower limbs area. And I believe I got frostbite in my leg. And anyway, I woke up one morning and my leg was just killing me. I thought I had either sprained my ankle or my foot, or worse, thought maybe it was a broken foot. Even it was reaching the point where it was swelling, and I couldn't. I could barely walk on it. So I don't generally partake in the allopathic community unless it's an emergency, and this was an emergency. So I went to the emergency room, which I respect the emergency room in that aspect of medicine, the allopathic emergency room, because if you fall off a building or if you need to get X-rays on something, they're very useful. And if you break a bone or get hit by a car, you need an emergency room because you can't start saying, "Oh, I think I'll take this herb and see if see if that works out for me." But at the same time, if I have something that is affecting me in terms of maybe what a normal person might use a particular allopathic medicine for, I would always prefer the herb medicine that does pretty much the same thing, but it doesn't destroy your internal organs. So And make no mistake, allopathic medicine can fix things, but if it fixes one thing, it's almost certainly going to cause problems with another thing. And that's why most Americans are on 5, 6, 7, 8 drugs. And because they fix your thyroid and they harm your liver or your heart or your lungs. Um, so it's kind of like chemo. Chemo could possibly kill the cancer cell, but it might also kill some good cells along with it, which it often does. And that's usually why people tell you, oh, yeah, the cancer cells are diminished, but it seems to have spread to this area of my body, or the bones, or the liver, or the spleen, or some area of your body. And the reason being is I believe the chemo has caused the new problem. It may have helped with the old problem, and may or may not. I've seen too many people who opt for the chemo option and don't do very well on it and end up dying. Most people die, I think, that I've known, and it's terrible. Cancer is a horrible thing. But anyway, enough of my ranting. I really like this woman, and I'll share a little more.
Problem. I took her to the doctor. She was put on antibiotics. Seemed to help for a while, but when they'd finished, it came back. This kept happening over the next 5 weeks. I got very frustrated because I thought, this is not healing the problem. And that probably was what triggered me into natural health. And then something else really triggered me, or really accelerated me, you could say, and that was becoming a Christian a few years later. I began to look at the body as a creation of God, an incredible creation of God with an inbuilt ability to heal.
Yeah, so a lot of what I learned about alternative medicine is from folks like Barbara O'Neill and others who have, Dr. Shiva, um, and I'm going to mention, I could mention a long list, but I'm bound to forget someone. So it's just a lot of good people out there who have made some really informative educational videos, and I've learned a lot over the last 30 years or so from these people. And long before they were available on video, actually, probably, I'm talking 50 years. When I was a young man, I started investigating alternative health because my dad, my dad was a character. My dad was a big drinker in his day. He was a big smoker in his day. But even when he was hurting his body, probably with those substances, he always would take an alternative health medication to combat maybe what he was doing to damage his body. Smoking, he'd take some sort of herb that helped your lungs, or some mixture of blackstrap molasses or anything like that. And so I became interested in that through him because I thought, what he was doing, I knew the smoking and the drinking weren't good. And I smoked when I was very young too. I quit when I was 29, thank God. And I think I'm okay. I've run 27 marathons and don't seem to have any ill effects from the smoking. I think they say it takes like 5 years before it's all out of your system and out of your lungs. So I hope. Anyway, I feel good. I've never had any lung issues, but my mom had lung issues. She was a smoker for a long time, and so anyway, I learned early on that I learned about natural medicines early on, and it all started actually when I was a young boy. Other than my dad, I watched him make all these concoctions, but it was a doctor by the name of Dr. Jarvis. He was from Vermont, and he was big on apple cider vinegar and honey. And so I bought a book. This was before him, long before Amazon. I'm talking, I was really young. I was probably, I don't know, 15, 16. And I think I might have gotten it at the library, actually, because there wasn't many options back then. I used to get a couple of health magazines, and I may have ordered it through them. But anyway, great book. I'm sure it's still available on Amazon, probably. His name is Jarvis, Dr. Jarvis, the Vermont. He's a Vermont country doctor. And he really got me interested in the alternative area of health. However, again, I was a dope. I still smoked and drank and did all the things young, stupid people do. But anyway, to get back to Barbara O'Neill, she's one of the people I believe in. I think she does good research. She has real good explanations of why she might use a particular thing. They don't necessarily, people like Barbara don't necessarily show any kind of scientific studies, but rather they use actual instances when they've used it on loved ones or on themselves, a particular herb, and they've seen it work on others. She does lectures for people. She's probably got tens of thousands of people who've seen her videos and been to her seminars. And she has, you know, testimonials from those people that her stuff has actually helped them a lot, and in some cases cured them of disease. So I'll always err on the side of the alternative medicine as opposed to the allopathic drugs that they want to give you. But again, I say the emergency room, there are areas of allopathic medicine that are really, we're lucky to have, believe me, the emergency room, having machines that can measure a problem and I don't have to even use the local doctors very often, because now you can get your own tests done online for, I don't know, I think I could get my whole body tested for about $250. So you do that once a year. I don't want to be going to some doctor's office with a bunch of sick people and, those, I just, then they want to, oh, when's the last time we did the baton up your blah, blah, blah. I don't want any of their tests, to be honest with you. Now, to most of you, I may sound like a crazy man, but hey, listen, I'm 77. I'm in good health. Like I said, I had that issue with the blood clot. They prescribed statins. I switched off the statins real quick because I knew from my research that the statins were causing a lot of problems with people. And so I went with the cayenne pepper. Never told the doctor that until the last visit. He didn't want to see me after that, I think. I say I think because I had an appointment with them, but they never confirmed it. And I think he got kind of, I don't think he got kind of angry when I told him that, I wasn't using your statins, because he did the test. He said, oh, things look good, and you've been taking the statins. And I said, no, not really. And he looked at me surprised. And I said, no. I said, have you ever heard of people using cayenne pepper? There's no scientific studies on cayenne pepper. I said, I know, but I think it's working. So anyway, that was 2018, I guess. I was still seeing him kind of once a year. And I just never went back after that. Never had a problem. I feel good. We're all going to die someday, hopefully. You last longer than most people, or at least you live a good long life. And like I said, I'm 77. I guess that's about average for a male. I think 78. But I feel good. And I use a lot of herbs, and it seems to help me. I don't use them every day. Sometimes if I feel something coming on, or there are a few that I do use every day, which would be oregano oil. And I do, if I remember, I do take apple cider vinegar every day. And I take a good multivitamin that is a liquid multivitamin. And if I think of it, I'll put it down in the comments at some point. And if not, the next video I do, I'll be sure to put that down there. But anyway, I would recommend you follow people like this.
So I began to understand.
And others that really can show ways to avoid the drugs and see if they work for you. If they don't, you can always get back on the drugs. But I know a lot of people are, this guy's she's a nutcase. This microphone isn't staying put. I'm not crazy about this microphone. I mean, I think the sound's pretty good, but it's got one of those, tripod stands, and it's not very, doesn't stay very stable, unfortunately. It's always falling. I'm sure if I mess with it, I can get it to stay, but anyway, that's where I'm at today. So, like I said, I was just testing out this software and see if it's working, and then Barbara popped up, so I thought I'd talk about her a little bit. That's what I do. So, this is JW signing off, and thanks for listening if you happen to stumble across this. And I'll talk to you soon with another video on health, or I've been doing some videos on sudden death among young people, what could be causing it, what I think is causing it, and a lot of the scientists seem to be avoiding, which is another reason why I don't trust doctors anymore. Not that I ever had a great deal of trust in them. I've had experiences going back when I was a young kid where I always wondered if they really knew what the hell they were doing. They were too quick with that pad and never tried to find the root cause of the problem. Only doctors I've had success with are chiropractors, and that's because they do look, if you get a good one, they look for the root cause of the problem, as opposed to just trying to treat the symptom. Treating the symptom means that they can temporarily alleviate the pain and the symptoms, but it's only temporary. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a cut that's going to continue to, if the cut needed stitches, you continue to put a Band-Aid on it, it's going to continue to bleed, and every time you take the Band-Aid and change it, it's just not going to solve the problem. So that's where we're at with that. So anyway, thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you soon. Hopefully, I'll be doing a video